Hello everyone, welcome back to another Both BA webinar. In this webinar, we are going to see about building dynamic dashboards using parameters. You might be familiar with the term parameter if you have used the classic Syncfusion dashboard platform before. Now this is being implemented in Bolt BA as well with minor changes and some major improvements. For those who are not familiar with the term parameter, parameter is nothing but a placeholder value such as a string, number, or date that can be dynamically changed on the fly when you visualize the dashboard in the dashboard viewer application. Often when you build dashboards, you'll be using static values in your dashboards like during calculations, in queries, in conditional formattings, and so on. And later on, when you might need to change those values based on the circumstances or due to varying conditions. And in order to do that, you may end up in editing the dashboard and completely changing all the occurrences of the values wherever you have used. But the parameters feature now eliminates those limitations and help you replace those constant or static values with a placeholder that can be eventually changed whenever you view the dashboard without having to re-edit the dashboard and change all those values together. Dashboard parameters can also help you in what if analysis and hence build a very dynamic report rather than the static one that you have been creating so far. First thing first, there is often a misunderstanding between filters and parameters. Let's see the difference between a filter and parameter. A filter is basically created using the column that you have in your data. Often you restrict the values of a column or field that you have, and you'd like to visualize the data with only some specific set of values to get more in-depth understanding of the data that you have. So that's when you use a filter. And filter is basically configured using the column or field that you have in your database or whatever data source you use to build the dashboard. On the other hand, a parameter is used to replace a static or hard-coded value in your dashboard or in your data source. On the other hand, parameter values can be manually uh, set as input when you visualize the dashboard, or you can also create a set of predefined parameter values before even visualizing the dashboard or when you create the dashboard itself, or you can import a set of parameter values with an external or second data source that you already have in your application. I'm just showing a simple use case here where you can use a parameter. For example, for calculating a sales commission, it could be the total revenue could be multiplied by the commission rate. So what you're seeing here is 2% of the total revenue. So for example, if you're creating a calculated field like this, and eventually this value 2 may be changed to 1.5 or 1.6, whatever you have based upon the current scenario or different conditions. But if you create a calculated field like this, uh, often you need to re-edit the dashboard again and again to change the value to visualize the dashboard when you to visualize the commission amount in the dashboard. But the parameter now just replaces the static value with a placeholder, as you see here, that can eventually be changed when you visualize the metrics or key performance indicators in your dashboard. Okay. So where are the places where I can use the parameters? So first thing is when you're using SQL connections, you can use parameters to replace static values in your stored procedures. So when you use a parameterized stored procedure where you need to pause uh, as an input value to execute the query, so far in Bolt BA as well, we use only a static value. And but if the user needs to change the value for different user or for different cases, they need to re-edit the data source again and input a different value. But now using the parameter, you can just change the parameter for the stored procedure in the viewer itself. You can also use the parameters in custom queries. And the second use case is in live web API connections. So we recently introduced the feature called as live web API. Previously in Bolt BI, whenever you use REST API to build dashboards, will extract all the data from your REST API and will store them in a data store that we have. in the cloud, or when you use an enterprise version of Bolt BI, it is moved on to your temporary database. And all the queries that are required to build the dashboard, like aggregation, sorting, and filtering, are executed or queried from the data store that you have. But now the live web API connection directly gets the data from your REST API, shows it as it is, and for every interaction in the dashboard, the query will be again fetched, and the latest data will be shown in the dashboard. Previously, the data is refreshed in the extract mode, like based upon the refresh settings that you configure, like it could be an hourly basis, or you can refresh the data on a daily basis, and so on. Now, using the live web API connection, you can fetch the latest data and view the dashboard for every interaction, such as filtering and so on. So the parameter now can be used when you use parameterized REST APIs. You can just add a placeholder using the parameter, and then for every interaction, you can query using the parameter value that you prefer. The third one is expressions. So you can do what if analysis by using parameters in calculated fields. I'll show you an example for this. And you can also add parameters in conditional formatting. So for example, if you may have charts and grids with conditionally formatted visuals for you may have a condition for this, say if the sales is greater than million, you have to display it in a green color or so on. And this condition that is greater than million is going to change. It is not going to be the same forever. And this value can be changed using parameter, and hence the conditional formatting and the colors and everything that you how you visualize the dashboard can altogether be changed using parameters. And finally, when you use parameters, you need to set a preferred values for users. For example, a user who could be a manager should be able to see the values, different parameter values, all the parameter values, but the person in the next hierarchy should be allowed to visualize, or should be able to switch only a certain parameter values. It is not allowed to visualize for the entire set of parameter values. You can also restrict the parameter values based upon the logged in users. Let's see the demo for all these use cases one by one, starting with the SQL connections. I'll now take you to the application that I have. So this is the cloud instance that I have for myself. And here I have just created a SQL connection. So when you create a new data source, using the connection wizard, you just go to a SQL connection or whatever connection you want, and when you establish a connection, let me show you the connection wizard here. I'm just showing the Microsoft SQL Server connection wizard. You enter all the required details, and when you click the connect button, it is going to take you to the data source designer that you see here. On the left side, you'll be able to see the schema. On the right side, we have a drag and droppable interface. You just drag and drop all the tables that you want, or a stored process that you want, to include them into the data source that you wanted. So on the top, we have few controls or few tools for you to do simple transformations to your data, like adding calculated fields, adding filters, and also if you want to cast from one data type to another, all those simple transformations can be done in this data source designer. Okay. So now let's see how to add a parameter to your data source. If you have been a user of Syncfusion dashboard platform, the parameter used to be in the data source designer rather than the data source. But now this has been moved to data source. It is now an entity of the data source itself. Uh, that would be much more helpful when you share certain data sources with multiple people, or even for yourself if you use the same data source for multiple dashboards. Instead of creating the parameters every time for each and every dashboard, when you reuse the data source, all those parameters that you have in the data source will be automatically imported, and then it'll just reduce a lot of time for you when you build a parameterized data source, and hence a dashboard. Okay. So on the toolbox, you'll be able to see the dashboard parameter option at the top. So once you click this, it will open up the dashboard parameter option where you can define the parameter. So for now, I'll just add a parameter, say customer ID. Okay. And if you want a description, you can add that. And we also have an option that says show in viewer. So if this is enabled by default, so when this is enabled, you can change the value of this parameter in the viewer that I will show now. But in case if this is disabled, the user will not be able to, anyone who views the dashboard will not be able to change the value of the parameter. They'll be just seeing a static dashboard. Okay, and then we have the mode, which could be literal or list. So literal is where you manually enter the value every time to change the parameter default value. In case of list, you'll have the option to manually add some values like this, rename the values and so on. Or in case of list, you can also import the values from a data source. Like so, we have the data source now. I can either use the values in this data source, or I can pick a column, pick a set of values from a column that we have. So I'll just go to the table option. You'll be able to see all the tables that you have in this data source. Let me choose customers. Okay, so here we have two options. First one is the value field and display field. For example, if you do all the internal operations using customer ID, but if you prefer to show the customer name instead of ID, which makes more sense, or which will be much more helpful to change the value. So instead of showing the customer ID in the viewer, you can display the customer name. But since in this data source I don't have a customer name, I'll keep the customer ID as it is. And you can also set a default value. So right now all the values are selected. In case if you want only a single default value, you can just select this first value. This will select the first value by default, which is already been sorted in an ascending order. Okay. I'll save this, close. Now let's go to the dashboard. I have not used this parameter anywhere in my dashboard now. I'm just showing how to create a parameter and change it in a viewer. And then we'll go back to using the parameter in different places. Now let's preview this dashboard. I don't have any widgets here, but this is how you are going to visualize the dashboard when you publish it, or when you share it with anyone. Okay, so when you share it or when you publish the dashboard, you'll be able to see the dashboard parameter option in the viewer. Okay, you just click this and you select a value. So the default value is the first one we have selected. So in case if you want to change one, you can just change and apply. So this action is going to replace the default value with the new value that we have now chosen, and the dashboard is going to display the data based upon that value. Okay, so this is how you create and basically change the value in a viewer. So now let's put this parameter into use. Okay, we have a parameter now. First, I'm going to show you how to use this parameter in a stored procedure. On the left side, we have the tables, views, and stored procedures. I'll remove the orders table and drag and drop one of the stored procedures that I have, which requires customer ID as the parameter. Okay, so you can see a stored procedure here. So when you drag and drop the stored procedure, it's going to record the value for the parameter, which is the customer ID. So I have two different options. First one is entering a custom value by myself, but when you enter a customer value, this is going to be static, and you may not be able to change it in future. If you want to change it, you have to come back again and edit the data source. On the other hand, you can go to the parameter option. It will show the list of parameters that you have in your data source. So this is the one that we recently created. I'll choose this and click OK. Okay. So this will apply the default value and then execute the stored procedure. So in the data preview, you'll be able to see the customer ID that we have chosen by default. Okay. So now I'll save this. And let's add a number card to show how the data changes when you change the parameter value. So in the number card, I can just configure the customer ID and any other metric. Okay. So this number card is basically used to show a simple or a single metric. So I'll just drag and drop the customer ID here and the count of orders. Okay. Instead of sum, I'll just change it to count. So we have the customer ID and the number of order count or order quantity here. So now when I preview the dashboard, I can go ahead and change the parameter value and switch between the customer IDs. Now, as you can see, the value is changed and uh, the visuals are changed, the values or visuals are changed accordingly. So now let's go back to the data source. The first thing we have seen is stored procedure. You can also use the parameters in custom SQL queries. For example, I'll just remove this stored procedure and then add few tables to this data source, say orders and order details. This first I'll drag and drop the orders table and then the order details. I can establish a join relationship using the order ID field. Okay. If I merge, this is going to establish the join operation. Okay. So now I'll switch to the code view mode. In case if you have your own custom query to build the dashboard, you can just copy and paste it here. Okay. So now I'll just add a var class, var customer ID, equal to LFK. Okay. So I can click execute here, the run button that will execute the query and populate the data, as you can see in the data preview here. Okay. So again, this is a static value. Now, instead of having this static value, I can replace it with a parameter. I'll just remove this string here and type in an @ symbol. Okay. When I type in the @ symbol, it will list out all the parameters that you have in the data source. But since we have only one parameter right now, it just included the parameter that we recently added. Okay. So now if I execute, it's going to make use of the default value that we have in the parameter and populate the data. Okay. What happens if we want more than one default value? We also provide the support for multiple values. So I just disable the is first value option and then select some set of values, say to the first three. Okay. So when you have multiple, when you change this parameter, it's going to reflect everywhere. That is the alert that you have been shown. I'll just save this. So when you have multiple values here, so instead of equal to, I'll change it as in and enclose the parameter with a bracket. So since we have multiple values. Okay. Now, if I execute this, it is going to bring in all the data for those three parameter values that we have seen. So I'll save the data source now, and you can see the three parameters here. Okay. So while viewing the dashboard in the viewer, I can instead of having only the default three values, I can also include more or remove one based upon my requirement. I'll just add two more values to this list and then apply. Now you can see all those values populated here. So that's how you make use of the dashboard parameters in SQL connections for executing store procedures using dynamic values and also in custom SQL queries. Okay. So we'll move on to the next one, the next use case, that is live web API connections. Okay. So live web API connections are mainly used when you have a parameterized REST API. So I have a parameterized REST API here. As you see, this REST API here returns the data of COVID-19. So when you enter the 3-character ISO code of a particular country, say India, I'll enter IND. So it will bring in the data for that particular country, and the results are shown here. Okay, so this is a parameterized REST API. So often you will be having your own parameterized REST API, which gets inputs of customer ID or user ID, whatever, and then as a response, it returns the data for that particular parameter that you have sent. Okay, so when you build the dashboard, instead of having the static data, you need to change the parameter for these REST APIs and build and show the dashboard dynamically based upon the parameter that you have chosen. So that's what we are going to do right now. So first, I have the ISO codes of different region here. So we have the alpha 2 values and alpha 3 values, and also the name of every region here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, so this data that I have here is imported from a CSV that I have. Even if you want to, even if you want to get these values from a SQL connection or a REST API, you can also do that. And basically, what we are going to do now is build a parameter using the alpha 3 value that we have here, and then the parameter is going to be the input for the REST API that we see. Okay, so two data sources are going to be involved here. Okay, so first step, we have the data source, first data source, which is the ISO codes. I'll add a parameter name, say name it as country code. Okay, now I'll make it as a list instead of literal, and the data type is just going to be string, and I'll choose the, instead of entering manual values, I'm going to import the values that I have in my columns. So I'll choose the data source option, and the field should be from the data source here. And here we have the right use case. So the value field will be the alpha 3 code, which is a 3-character code, basically 3-character ISO code. But the display value is going to be the name, which will be far more easier for the users to understand and switch between the regions when they view the dashboard. Okay, and the default value, I'll set it as first value. Okay, and I'll save this. So this is the first data source. We have successfully prepared the parameter. I will go to the dashboard now and add one more parameter, one more data source, which is going to be the live web API connection. Okay, and remember, if you want to use parameter value from another data source, you need to include the data source within the dashboard. So in case you may end up in building 2 or 3 data sources, which are going to be parameters for the fourth data source. In the circumstances, you need to import, or you need to uh, add all the data sources within the dashboard that you're going to use. Okay, so we have the first data source in our dashboard here. I'm going to add another data source, which is going to be a web API connection. So I'll just search web. Okay, so we have the generic web API connector here. I'll select this. Okay, and I will name this data source as COVID data, and the URL is going to be this one. Okay, copy and just paste it over here. Okay, now instead of hard coding the region code as IND, I'll just add the parameter here. All you have to do is just add an @ symbol. So this will show the list of parameters that you have. In our case, country code is the parameter that we already have. I'll select this one. Okay, and the method is just going to be get. I don't have any headers. And the one thing that you want to change is the live, the mode should be live. Okay, so in extract connection, what will happen is it will extract the values completely, and it will show the data from the extract database rather than executing the REST API every time and fetching the latest record. Okay, so you have to go to the live selection, live mode here, and then click preview and connect. Okay, so I'll just drag the table to the design canvas and enable the preview, data preview. So you'll be able to see the data for the region that we selected right now. Okay, and I'll just save this. Okay, now let's add one more widget, which could be a number card or chart, whatever you want. For simplicity, I'll just add a number card, add the name of the region and the confirmed cases. So we have the name of the region here. I will add it to series and the confirmed cases to the mission. Okay, So you see the confirmed cases list for the particular region here. When I visualize the dashboard, I can modify the parameter value, select a particular value, say India, and apply it as. So this is now going to replace the default value that we had, and the data for India is. So as you can see, for every change for the parameter here, it is going to fetch the data, change the REST API, and fetch the data, latest data from the REST API. So that's how you make use of parameters in live web API connections. The third one is using the parameter in expressions for what if analysis. Let's see the first example that we saw before, calculating the commission, sales commission, using a dynamic commission rate. Okay, so I'll demonstrate the same example here with the data that I have. So I have a data that is imported from a CSV that I had. It has all the fields like region, country, sales, total revenue, profit, and so on. So I'm going to calculate the sales commission using the total revenue field that I have here. Okay. First thing, we need to create an expression. Okay, so I'll just create an expression, name it as say commission amount. Okay. So it is going to be total revenue multiplied by the commission rate. Okay, for now just add a static value and save this. You'll be able to see the data preview and the commission rate here for every record. Okay. Now instead of now what we are going to do is replace this static value with the parameter. Okay. So we'll add one more parameter here, the data source. I'll name it as commission rate. So I'll stick to literal here because I don't have a list of values. So that whatever value, instead of having predefined values, I can change. I'll have the independency to change whatever value that I want. I'll choose number. Okay. So the current value is going to be 2.0. So even if you want a range, say 2 to 4 or something like that, you can change that. So for now, I'm just sticking to single value, which is 2.0, and save this. So in the expression editor, I'll just change the, instead of the static value, I'll choose the parameter that I have. So which is going to be commission rate here. So I'll just double click this. This will insert a placeholder as you see. Okay. Now I'll save this and close the expression editor. You can save this data source and build a dashboard to show the commission amount dynamically. Again, I'll add a number card and bind the commission amount to this. So in the assign data, all I need to do is just drag the commission amount to the measure. Okay. So we have the sum of commission amount as displayed below. Now, when I view the dashboard, I can do analysis and see the varying commissions based upon the rate I input. So if I change it to 1.6, this is going to apply and change the value here. Okay. So that's how you make use of expressions in make use of parameters in expressions, and you can do different kind of what if analysis using having multiple parameters for the same expressions. Okay, and the next one is using the parameters in conditional formatting. To explain this use case, I already have a data source here, so which is a revenue performance dashboard. So the revenue performance dashboard basically contains a lot of widgets, including the revenue and the website visitors analysis and so on. So you can see here annual recurring revenue, successful payments, and the website landing pages and everything here. The one widget that I'm going to conditionally format now is the website bounce rate. So you see a widget here which shows the website bounce rate for every month starting from May to August. Now, instead of having a monochromatic color or a single color like what you see here, I can add a conditional formatting using certain conditions. Say, if I consider that the bounce rate is in a safe area, if the bounce rate is between 40 to 60 or something like that, or 40 to 65 percentage, I can show those values or those uh, bars here in the column chart alone in a different color. So to do that, you need to go to the properties panel, and we have a formatting option here, and you can go to advanced setting. And in the advanced setting, you can enable the rule and add conditions. Say if the bounce rate, average of bounce rate is greater than 40, let's say between 40 and 70, let's apply an yellow color. And if the bounce rate is less than 40, we can assign a green color. Let me make it as less than or equal. I'll just apply green color. And for those values, whose bounce rate is greater than 70 or 60, I'll just change it as 60. I can apply a red color. Okay. Now, if I save this, each series you see here is going to change based upon the condition that we added here. So we don't have anything in the moderate range. We have in the month we have very much lesser bounce rate. In the all the other months, the percentage is greater than 60. So I can go ahead and just change this to 70. Now you'll see the difference. Okay, so we have 2 months, July and August, which is in the moderate range. May is in the good range, and June, of course, had a lot of bounce, website bounces. Okay, so now this conditional formatting is done using static values, as you see. So instead of having this 40 to 60 as a safe zone, you may need to change this over a time period. You may need to change this as instead of having it as a 40 to 60, you may need to change it as 35 to 40 or 35 to 50, so on. But again, if you have a lot of widgets in the dashboard configured with conditions like this, you may need to edit the dashboard again and change all the static values in the dashboard. So instead of that, you can add parameter and then make use of that in the conditional formatting here. Okay. So again, in the data source, I'll go to the data source that I have and create a parameter. So I'll name this as bounce threshold, and I'll choose the literal value again and a number range. So instead of single, I'll go for range, and the default value will be 40 to 60. Okay. So now we have created a parameter. The only thing is you cannot right now you cannot apply the parameter directly in the conditional formatting dialog, but however you can create an expression using that and then make use of that expression in the conditional formatting dialog. So you can see here I have the expression already, so I'll just edit this and add the expression again. So the condition is going to be if average of bounce rate is less than bounce threshold at start, which is the lower end of the range that we had. Then I'll provide a number for the color, say 0 for green. Okay. In the false area, in the false condition, I'll just add if I'll add another if condition here and add if bounce rate is greater than threshold dot end, which is the end of the range threshold range that we configure. So then I'll return 2, which is going to be a red color. or else I'll just return 1, which is going to be the represent the intermediate region. Okay. I'll just save this. Okay. Okay. Now I have successfully configured the expression. The expression, the color 0 represents green, 1 represents yellow, and 2 represents red. So I'll save this and go back to the conditional formatting dialog. So instead of the bounce rate here, I'm going to add the condition, because the condition is already added in the expression. I'll go to the field that we created right now. Let me check the name of the field again. Okay, so basically you choose the color coding field here. So I'll just create another expression. So remove this. So this was created for me for the practice session. So I'll just save this again. Close. So this is the expression that we created right now. So all I need to do check is equal to, if the expression value is going to be 0, I'll apply green. Equal to 1, then we are going to apply an yellow color. And then for 2, we're going to add a red color. So now when I save this, you see that the condition is now added, because we have given the ranges 40 to 60. Only one of the bars here is displayed in green color, all others are displayed in red color. But when you visualize the dashboard, you should be able to change the threshold here. Let me change it as 40 to 70. And the value is going to be calculated, the condition is going to be executed, and the color will be applied to the widget accordingly. So as you see here. So that's how you make use of dynamic conditional formatting using the dashboard parameters. And the last one that I wanted to show is user-based data access. So instead of allowing all the users to access the entire set of parameter values that you have, you can restrict the users to certain set of parameter values, like how I'm going to show now. Let's go back to the previous example, that is the REST API that we used. Okay, so here I have imported a set of values from a data source, so which is the ISO codes data source that I had already. So you can see the list of values here. Now, instead of allowing all the users to view the entire set of parameter values, I can allocate the parameter values for each and every user. Okay, so to do that, you can go to the user filters here, click configure user filters. And you can see here, you can choose the column in which you want to restrict. So here alpha 3 is the code that we want. And we have the list of users in the application on the left side. Okay, so now I can go ahead and choose some values for the first user here. So let me choose some random values. As you see here, let me add a few more values. Okay. So the first person, Bhaskaran here, is going to access only these set of values that I have selected, and he'll not have access to other values in the parameters. Okay. So I'll just save this. And for each user, you can manually assign, or even you can, if you want to, if you have a permission schema in a data source, you can also assign them and dynamically get the permission schema from the data source without having to manually assign the permissions. Okay. So now, when you preview the dashboard, you see here there is an option to impersonate the user. So let me choose Bhaskaran. Okay. So now you can see here the value automatically changed, and this is how the dashboard is going to look when the particular person logs into the application and opens the dashboard. Okay, and even in the list of parameters, you'll have access to only the set of values that we assigned for. You'll not have access to other values. Let me choose a different value now and click apply. So the value is going to change. Okay, so these are the different use cases which we have now offered for the parameters. Hope this session gave you a good idea of where to use parameters and when to use without having to use static values in any of your dashboards. We're also looking forward to add more use cases for this parameter feature, including filters, top-end conditions, and so on. And in future, you'll also be having access to directly adding the parameter values in the conditional formatting window, where you now indirectly add the values using expressions, and many more improvements to be added to this feature. Okay. Hope this gave you a good idea. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time.